Speech, speech, speech,
Speech, speech, speech, speech,
speech,
speech.
speech, speech, speech.
So today is July 17th, 2024. I believe it's Nelson Mandela Day according to the United States government. I'm here on Capitol Hill after watching a Bob Marley video this morning, and what I want to point out to you from that video is a couple of things. First of all, Bob spoke about God owning time. He spoke about that they represent for the African people, but the African people do not represent for the Jamaicans, but they still have heart and faith that they can change the world and fix it for all people. He also spoke about the fact that alcohol makes you forget and wake up young every day. You need to wake up, remember, and not forget. Excuse me, officer. You know, I read the other day in roll call, well, last February, officer, I saw that Congress is supposed to put up a plaque for the fallen officers from the January 6th incident. Congress promised to put up a plaque by March of 2023. Did they put that up yet? I asked y'all maybe like 3 months ago, you said no. And I'm sorry to be a dick. Well, this goes to show you all of Congress is either a bunch of cokeheads or on meth or on medication. So that would be probably Adderall, Ritalin, or Vyvanse. Vyvanse is that slow release Adderall. That's your cocaine or meth from a doctor, basically. Congress is on all that shit or some other shit. If they can't even put up a plaque for the soldiers that died, or I'm sorry, officers that died, when former President Donald Trump incited a riot over here. Oh, by the way, the Supreme Court is right over there. The sun is over top of it right now. The sun is shining. It's morning. I wake up before dawn almost every day, and I live on Frederick Douglass Mountain now in Anacostia, a few minutes that way. The sun is shining over top of the Supreme Court, and I was baffled that all this hype was going into Donald Trump because he's a felon, and if I wanted to be a representative payee for somebody on Social Security disability, I cannot if I was a felon, which I'm not. I have one misdemeanor. However, Donald Trump has 34 felonies, so the Supreme Court changed the law so Donald Trump could be president. And let's not forget that Donald Trump's father and grandfather basically run the KKK in New York City. Or they did. I don't know if they're alive or not, but if they're not, that means he runs the KKK in New York City. So I guess that's why the Supreme Court voted to let him possibly become president. Now, the real question is President Biden. President Biden keeps like what we call spacing out or lunching out. So, like, yeah. Is America still spelled UHMARYKKKAH? Or is it KKKAHHH, like like UHMARYKKKAAAAAAAH? America. I don't know. You know, it reminds me of South Africa. The 5 words. South Africa, Soweto, Israel, Gaza. You know that dollar bill with the little eyeball on top of the mountain, or the pyramid, the all-seeing eye, and it says, "In God we trust"? Imagine 3 eyes on each corner. Then imagine 2 triangles diametrically opposed with 6 eyeballs around it. And then you have a hexagon with 6 eyeballs around it. And then you read the I Ching, and then you know that, say Americans were traveling into other countries, quote unquote, illegally under their CIA and other ways to perhaps create classic textbooks across the world and higher education. And before I get into any more of that, I only have a bachelor's degree, and I don't have a master's degree. However, Jake the Barber from Pennsylvania, kind of like Jake the Butcher in the movie The Gangs of New York. Well, Jake the Barber was Jacob Strass in Pittsburgh, and he lived in Butler, Pennsylvania, which is a borough of Pittsburgh, kind of right near Millville. And then Jacob Strass begat Walter Joseph Strass, and he begat Joanne Mary Strass, and that was my Pope mom who decided to take me as a baby and fuck me up for everybody and stole me from my Slovak mother over in Duquesne. And I'll confirm all this probably about 5 seconds because I sent a text message to Joanne the other day. I named the companies and what they did, and nobody's told me this because I'm just a person of God. And guess what? She never responded. And she just married a weird fucker named Walter from Louisiana, and she's a great grandmother, and they all let me starve and die in the streets here, almost, except for I'm just hungry and just near death many times since homeless in the past 5 years. So I'm just thankful I have a couple of people in Pittsburgh who I do consider loved ones and family. And dare I say, no, I don't dare say, because that's rude. Lots of love from Washington, D.C. And I don't have any ankle bracelets on. But the reason that MC Hammer became popular because of his pants, because it just became fashionable to put tracing devices and tracking devices on black people and other people of criminal background, and then track them around with your drones and your drone air forces and all your digital biometrics and all that stuff. A lot of fun stuff going on around here, but not really actually at all. But those pants that label you to hide the beeper they put around your ankle. That's why those pants became popular, because they were making a spectacle out of all the people rather than actually doing justice. You know, like the Supreme Court, who I mentioned earlier, right over there. Yeah, they just said it was legal for a felon to become president when there's so many jobs in the United States that are basically menial and low level. You can't get those jobs either if you're a felon. You probably can't get a job as a prison guard if you're a felon, a school teacher. You probably can't be, well, doctors can be felons because we know what the fuck they're doing. And I'm going to go after I say this. The American medical system is represented by a stripper pole with 2 flying snakes around it. They say it put a hex on a person. You surround them with the hexagram, which is the 6 bars from the I Ching, or the I Ching as white people say it. And remember, all the names on all the maps were just invented after World War II. A few years ago, the Angles, the Saxons, and the Jutes, okay? The Jutes were the Germans, the Angles, or what we call Americans, are the English, and the Saxons were the French. Anybody else know anything about linguistics, reality, or fucking people over by lying to us by creating a fake educational system? Well, I can tell you who knows about it. The police officer, or the Capitol Police I just spoke to at the beginning of the video, and all the other ones who aren't fucking arresting me right now and are fucking thinking about things critically now and remembering. Because the goal of the United States government is to make us forget and shut the fuck up. So how did we go from a $2 trillion budget deficit to a $34 trillion or $35 trillion budget deficit since 2008? And when our deficit was $2 trillion, our overall annual budget was, I think, somewhere estimated between $11 trillion and $13 trillion, which if you do the math and apply it like, you know, people do, a $2 trillion deficit to an $11 trillion debt makes a $35 trillion deficit about $180 trillion or $180 trillion economy just for the United States alone. That's not realistic. And why do people keep sending billions and billions and billions of dollars to other countries? Like the announcement that was made the other day that said we just sent $60 billion to Ukraine, but it's okay because it's money we seized from Russia and it's interest payments on that money. And we sent it to Ukraine to help them with their peacekeeping. Well, guess what? That's a lot of money. That's an obscene amount of money. Let's have some fun. Not really. That's an obscene amount of money. And it's basically unacceptable that every single American in the United States owes over $100,000 to Capitol Hill. And guess what? Guess what else? Guess what else? Guess what else? In addition to every American owing that much money to the United States government, guess what else? Guess what else? In addition to us owing that money to the United States federal government, guess what else? If you have a problem with it, they'll tell you to talk to a professional and get medication, which is actually party drugs, which is what they put children and veterans on. That's called indentured servitude when every single American owes that money. Does no one else care? My name is Vizdos. It's spelled with an H. It's Slovak. That's my real name. Than Vizdos, Nathaniel Shellhays Vizdos, the artist N8, the man with the YouTube channel Vizdos TV. I'm a person. All these people floating around saying I'm the one, I'm some god. I'm a person, human being. This was all a big setup. Since my birth, I've been fucked with, starting with Mount Alvernia nuns in Millville and the people of Butler and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and all them people like the Pope and all them people. You know what a normal day is for me? Looking for food and wondering why my friends and family don't buy me a lunch. Hey, I know. I'll go to see Congresswoman Cheryl today, Mikey Cheryl, and if she's not there, I'll just ask her office to buy me lunch, since she posted yesterday, people over profits, yet she's also one of the ones who sent that $60 billion to Ukraine, saying don't worry about it, it's interest on Russian money that we took from them. Guess what? The United States, we pay billions of dollars in interest every day on our debt. We have a debt to the federal treasury or the bank or something. And every day, we as people somehow owe interest on a debt incurred by these folks here. And guess what? I grew up around all their families in Western Virginia. Books are soon to be out forthcoming with all the family names. Hundreds of names. And guess what they told me? They changed their names. Like the name Copeland from the original Mayflower boats and all that shit. Well, one family changed it to Copeland, C-O-P-L-E-N. They've made all kind of variations. Remember this, 13 colonies, 13 original families, 26 letters in the alphabet, keep everybody hot and cold and confused. Fairfax County gives you the Fairfax up north. Down south, they give you the half the facts, like Halifax County in North Carolina. And Reston, Virginia was the orchard for the most grandest slave masters of the world, which are evil motherfuckers. But if you don't believe me, get a master's degree and you'll learn everything from their textbooks. No, you won't. And this ain't no movie set. There's a police officer driving by right now on a bicycle. And then I'll leave. So anybody who says I'm dangerous, anybody who lied to the military or the police last year or the year before saying I was a terrorist and I should be put in prison for 5 to 10 years, 2 years ago. Last year they said 15 years. Let me put it this way. The word "the" in German, or shall we say Jute, is die. I grew up around the Joyner family. Joyner die. Die Joyner. It's that simple. Everything's fucked up and reversible, interchangeable. You just change it up a little bit and don't worry about it. Get your gold and take it easy. Oh, me? Who am I? I heard I'm a walking dead man from strangers I don't even know. Thanks.
So, unfortunately, Mikey Cheryl, my old classmate from high school, wasn't in her office. And her staff said if there's an ethical policy with the government, it's unethical or illegal for them to buy me lunch, or they said they would. I explained all my hardships and everything I had before to them. So, I guess I just go back to Anacostia, the homeless shelter, and sit around there. Hey, officer, did you know they didn't put a plaque up for the fallen officers yet from January 6th when President Trump did that? And then the Supreme Court just changed the law, saying that he could be president even though he's a felon. I can't even get a job as a school teacher if I had a felony. I don't. I have one misdemeanor. Disorderly conduct. And I call it good trouble, just like Representative Lewis, who's up in...